Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Hello everyone and welcome to round number 8 of the Formula SimRacing Pro Championship, and we are actually not here for Academy as the graphic suggests. We are here for the Pro race. Now unfortunately Felix again had issues, but I have since not finished the race as per usual in Pro, so I will come and finish this race. We're just about halfway through, lap 24, and we will jump straight into the action because Tom Sadley started on the medium compound tyres. He did qualifying on the softs, and he is still out. And behind him, he has Mark Hutchinson, who has been leading from the start, who has already made his pit stop coming behind. So Tom committed to trying to start as high up as he could on the soft tyres. He started P13, and this is him still out. So he's trying to make this work. However, he will need to make a pit stop. I think he is hoping that Hutchinson will have to pit again, which he probably will have to, because Hutchinson started on the ultra soft compound tyres, which only lasted about 7 laps. So this is pretty much the battle for the lead, and if he can stay out long enough for probably another, let's say, 10 laps, both of them will be pitting at a very similar time for soft tyres at the end. So this could work for Tom Sadley. We'll have to see how it goes. He did this last time out in Hockenheim as well, doing a one-stop strategy with the soft and the mediums, but this time he's doing it reverse. He's doing the mediums first, which will help him have a lot better wear on the soft at the end with lower fuel. And to look a little bit further down quickly, just to run you through what's happening, Kian White is in P3. Harley Hamnet having a good race up in P4, followed by Marek Godek. As you can see, all drivers on the medium compound tyres at the moment. Then we've got Thomas Fak, João Pateas, Ivan Leonov, Romati Singh, who I think has just made a pit stop. Then we have Tom Oldermenger and Kostas Glanamatis as well. And unfortunately, we had quite a few retirements. We had Peter Schultz, Lazaro, Parvez, D'Amelio all go out on the first lap. Then we had Ivanov have an incident in the pit lane with Kian White, had to DNF, and then I'm not quite sure how Roslan and Coleman DNF'd, and then I was quite far off and I decided to come and stream again. But we've got Mark Hutchinson now going for the lead, but lifting off there, so he's clearly not looking to actually make a move just this moment, as we do have some 30 laps to go in this race. Now the Hungary, quickly get a nice little image up, is 4.3 kilometer circuit, 42 laps, 2 DRS zones. So we've got plenty of chances to overtake, despite it being quite a tight track. You can still overtake into turn 1, turn 2, and possibly even into turn 4 if you're brave enough as well. Well, for now we're watching your championship leader Mark Hutchinson follow Tom Sadley. Sadley did manage to get a win last time out in Hockenheim, which helped his championship hopes quite a lot, because He hadn't won a race this season so far, but Mark still has a 23-point advantage. And behind them is David Mocek on 87. So Mark has 149 points, Tom has 126, and then Mocek on 187. However, Mocek has moved up to WC, so they've actually got a big gap behind to Roma Tissing on 71 points. So it's really these two battling out for the championship. We've got 7 races, including this one, so still plenty of time. That is 175 points still up for grabs, so still plenty of racing still to come. And Matt Gerdick still can't get past Harley Hamlet. Harley, I think let's have a look. I think this might be. Oh, it is actually his sixth race this season, but he's only had 2 proper finishes in Canada and Australia, which were P6 and P11. So he does have some record of, of finishing this year. However, P4 will be quite good for him now. So Tom started on these tyres, and if he wants to make a one-stop work, he's going to have to go well after 30 laps. These soft tyres are good for about 20 laps, maybe a little bit more if you really had to push it. So I'd assume he's going to go about 34 laps and then 22 at the end on softs. But for him, it is crucial that he keeps Mark behind, because he needs to keep Mark behind. He will then pit first and get an undercut. And then that is when he needs to have the gap, so that when Mark pits, probably for the soft tyres as well, I would assume, he would then have an advantage. So Mark has won 3 races this year in Australia, Azerbaijan and Canada, but he hasn't won the last 3 races. However, he has been on the podium every single race this season, and sadly has been on the podium 4 times out of the 7 races, and he's been in the top 5 every race. So he's still had a very consistent year. However, it's been Mark who's getting those final results that really count. And we got, sadly, defending down the straight. Yeah, Mark really hasn't got an option at the moment, but I would assume he's not really using any sort of quali boost or anything, because there is no need right now. He knows that he has plenty of time. And we got Harley Hamner here, who's, well, he's had a spin. That's very weird. I need to have a look at this. So Harley coming down the main straight, he's going to pull to the right. Wow, that looked okay. That looked like a lag issue. There was definitely absolutely no contact there. So as Harley down into 6th place, and that is giving Ivan Leonov an opportunity here to get up into 6th place. Leonov was our pro champion of last year, but that was back when pro was actually academy, and then the names changed this year. So he was the 3rd tier champion last year. He beat me by, I think, 16 points in the end. He beat me by. So I know him very well. He's been around since 2017, and he had quite an impressive race in WC. Can't remember which race it was. I think it was Canada that he had a very impressive race, and he's actually managed to get past Harley. Oh, Harley's making a pit stop lap 30. Yep, that makes sense. However, 26 laps. That is a bit of a stretch for the soft tyres. What has he put on? Another set of the medium. So yeah, I assume he will go pretty much to the end. And actually, no, he would have already made a pit stop, wouldn't he? So yeah, this is his second set of tyres, so actually that should be fine for him to the end. And what I'll do is I will just quickly grab the qualifying order so that you knew how the race started. Obviously, unfortunately, we missed that. However, it was Mark Hutchison who got pole position with a 1:14.1, followed by Harley Hamnet also on a 0.1. Then you had Kian White, Ivan Leonov, Marek Godek, Ivan Leonov, Thomas Vuk, João Pérez, Costas Galanamatis, and Tom Aldermeyer finishing your top 10 on a 14.9. So pretty close lap times. And then we ended with Roma, me, Sadley, Roslan, D'Amelio, Parvez, Schultz, Coleman, and Christian Lazaro to finish as well. My one thing with Sadley here is that he did the same lap time as me in qualifying, but he did it on the soft compound tyres, which means had he qualified on the ultras, he probably would have been next to Mark anyway at the front. So it is an interesting strategy that he's done, because he's kind of given himself a more difficult task because he's going to be on older tyres for a longer part of the race. But at the moment, he's on lap 31 and he's still going strong. So if he can go for another 3 laps after this one, he should be able to get to the end. But it's just a bit more of a risky strategy, I'd say. And Mark comes into the pit lane. So we have 25 laps to go. And Mark is actually getting the undercut. Okay, so Mark will be taking a set of the mediums then, because this is far too early. So Mark's strategy will be ultra, medium, medium. So he's actually going to get the undercut, sadly. So yeah, this is a really risky strategy from Sadly, because he is going to come out of the pits probably behind Mark, and he's going to have to overtake. But he will probably be on those soft compound tyres. And we actually have Roma Tissing as well. However, I am thinking Roma might need to pit again, because I think he actually pit quite early in the end. I don't think he could make the one-stop work. And further back, we got the green train of all the ISIM-RS cars, all Mark's teammates. We've got Harley Hamnet, Thomas Vuk, and João Pérez, followed by another green car of Ivan Leonov behind them for the bottom end of the points. So the points actually go to 15th, but we only have 11 cars still running, unfortunately. Yeah, we did lose 4 cars on the first lap, so that doesn't always help. So all drivers who finish will be getting points today, as long as they are classified. You have to be within the more than 90% of the race leader's time to be classified. So that's basically 5 laps. So you can't be more than 5 laps down. And Sadley's in the pits. Sadley has come into the pits on the soft compound tyres. So he is... I think he would have wanted to go another lap. But where is Mark Hutchison? Mark is miles away up the road. So I'm going to say that is pretty not good for Sadley, because he now needs to do the same lap time, or same laps, -1 on a softer set of tyres. So I think it's going to be very difficult, but we will see what goes on. There's still 23 laps to go. So I have to see what Mark Hutchison can do. But I just have to see what Roma Tissing is doing as well. I would like to know his strategy, but I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm just going to quickly check this on the live timing. Live timing is by RaceView, and there should be a link in the description. If not, go to raceview.nl and you can find our page on there. So Roma pitted on lap 15, yes, so that's a little bit too soon for a one-stop strategy, but he's now giving his teammate loads of slipstream and will let him go, I assume. Yes, he has. That is absolutely fine. And now, sadly, has a 4.5 second gap to close down over the next 20 laps. So Harley has actually pulled away from his two teammates, and he's now on the back of Marek Godek, who has made his pit stop. This is the battle for P5. And this is the battle that made Harley spin. Harley is from Australia, so I would assume that's why he had a big lag, because that was more of a ping or netcode issue rather than a actual server lag that we've seen in the past. So because he's in Australia, obviously his ping and such will be a lot higher than the cars around him. But let's see what he can do coming onto this main straight. Oh no, I didn't have good exit, went all over the Astro. He won't be able to make a move on, at least into turn 1, but you do have the second DRS zone. Detection's right on the apex for the second DRS zone, so he's obviously behind. Yeah, hasn't exactly got a good exit. And now we've got Thomas Vark and João Pateis battling as well. Thomas recently moved up from the Academy Championship. I think his first race was Paul Ricard, round 5. Having moved to SimRacing in the Ace Academy Championship, and then he's quite impressive, so they moved him up when David Mocek left a seat open for them, because obviously they are trying to win the Constructors' Championship. Talking of the Constructors' Championship, they are currently leading by 40 points to go speed. And having 4 drivers in the points at this moment is very good for them. However, only the top 2 drivers from each team get the points for the Constructors. So at the moment, that would be Hutchinson and Hamnet, and also, sadly, and Tissing. So that's quite an interesting little thing that we'll have to look out for when we get towards the end of the season and we start calculating points. So I have the whole field still running. Sadly, he's the only driver on those soft compound tyres. And our Tissing pit, so Tissing probably will go onto them as well. Does he? No, he stays on the mediums. I guess he feels he can push them to the end a lot further. We have to see what Sadly does to the end of the race, because if his tyres drop off, Kean White is only 8 seconds behind. So in 20 laps, that might be doable for the Irish driver, Kean White. He's pulling or holding up the banner, I should say, for his team Oromia, as Kostas is down in 9th place. Kostas hasn't had the best season he would have liked, I have to say. He's definitely got the ability, just hasn't put a sort of a standout performance so far, but There's still plenty of races that he can do that. Costas so far, his best result is 6th in France, but apart from that, he's got 9th and 10th positions. So yeah, I would say his ability is a little bit better than that. So hopefully in this second half of the season, he can get a bit more performance out of himself, because I mean we've got some good races coming up. After this, we got Belgium and Italy, so Spa and Monza, two of my personal favourite tracks of the season. And we now have Roma Tissing right behind Costas, and he's going to get a nice slipstream. Not too big overspeed, but it's going to be nicely down the inside. Costas doesn't make it too difficult. Costas probably will have the DRS here to defend. Oh no, actually Roma kept it, and that's up to P9, and he now has about 5 seconds to catch up to Ivan Leonov as well. And then after Italy, we got Singapore, Japan, America, and Brazil. So we've got some of the nicest races on the calendar to finish the season out, finishing way down the road in November. So we've got plenty of racing before now in November. And looking back at the front, Tom Sadler's actually, he's dropped off Mark Hutchinson. He's now about 6 seconds behind. So, yeah, I think it's been a good attempt, and he probably would be in the same position anyway if he did the same strategy as Mark. But unfortunately, Mark choosing to use those mediums and get the undercut has really, really helped him. Because most drivers were worried about using the ultra soft compound, because I don't think I mentioned that yet. That is the tyres that we had. We had the ultra soft, the soft, and the medium. So the last few races have been with the super softs, but instead it was a step softer this time, which is it's quite good in some ways, because it's opened up an extra stop in the 2 races so far in Academy and now Pro. So I have to see what it does in the World Championship later on. But most drivers were worried about it wasn't going to be usable. But obviously, if you want the track position at the start, you needed to use them. And so far, Mark has made this work. Though it's now gone down to 6.1 seconds. Last lap suddenly was a little bit slower actually. But the pace is still fairly consistent, all in the 1 minute 18s. Which is actually quite a good pace, to be honest. No one to be too displeased with that pace. But then again, these are the second tier drivers. However, the reason why the grid size is a bit smaller is because most of the sort of good drivers get into the World Championship. Obviously, all of the sort of newer novice drivers go in Academy. So Pro is a bit of a weird middle ground for some drivers. However, the quality is still there, because some of these drivers who have done reserves in WC have excelled with their performances. I mean, I think Mark got points. Tom would have got points last time out in Hockenheim before he got hit. So the speed is certainly there for these drivers, has to be said. And we have now got Marek Godek. He has... Oh, Harley Hamnet went off. And have a quick look at this. Oh yes, he just went on the grass on the entry. So he had a half spin. That's where he lost the time. And I think Pateas eventually got past him. Let's have a look. Yes, he did. Pateas eventually got past him. So that has changed positions. Has been the best last 10 laps or so for Harley Hamnet. And Ivan Lev is still right there behind them. But it's Marek Godek who I wanted to look at because he's now catching up to the back of Kian White. And he has 14 laps at the end of this one to be able to try and make a move. So if he plays this nicely, he'll be able to work out exactly where he's going to do it. However, he can't make a move just yet, and Kian's actually been quite good the last couple of races, especially in Silverstone. Having Silverstone, the optimal strategy was a soft medium one stop, but he got pole position, so he had to start on the super softs, and unfortunately Roman Tissing had a bit of a better strategy on that day, starting in P11 on the actually no, it wasn't in P11, I think it was at the back on the soft compound tyres or the mediums, whichever way around he did it. But Kian's looked quite strong. He joined the Ace Championship, which is what Pro has been renamed to, this time last year, and he won his first race, which was Spa, and he won another race, I think. So he certainly got winning pedigree at this level, and then he's moved to Oromia this year, and he's looking quite good, it has to be said. However, not quite on the pace of Hutchinson. I'm going to quickly check the strategy that Kian did. So he's basically done the same as Mark. 6 laps in 25.25, which Mark did 7 laps at the beginning. So even on the same strategy, he's some 15 seconds off. So it hasn't really been the best race for him today. And we're now looking back to Ivan Leonov, who's getting feisty with Thomas Vark, who has dropped back of his 2 teammates. And Roman Tissing is now on the back of this battle as well. Battle for the lower points places. Roma's looking feisty, has to be said. Winner 2 races ago, but hasn't quite at the pace anywhere else this season. He's been fast, but not race winning fast. I mean, Mark Hutchinson has just been there every single race at the top, doing his thing. Whereas the other drivers have sort of came and then gone with their relative pace. And he is now going to be right in the DRS zone, but it's going to be very difficult because the 2 cars ahead of him have DRS, and is Ivan Leonov actually in front of him, going to be having a look round the outside. He'll still have DRS because he was just behind at the detection point, so this could be a nice move for Ivan Leonov for what will be 6th position. Tiny bit of contact on the entry, but didn't seem too bad, and that is a position for Leonov, which now gives Roma Tissing a chance, and this is going to be, yes, good idea, Roma, to back out of that. It is not a good idea to go side by side in turn 4. It's on the crest, it's off camber, can't see what's happening. He's got plenty of laps to make this overtake work. Roma again coming down, hasn't been able to They're quite close enough. However, Vac is still in the DRS zone, so until that is not a thing, it'll be quite difficult for Roman to overtake. You have to be quite patient with when he is going to be pushing, because he pit with... When did he pit? Yeah, he pit... Oh no, actually pit quite late. Okay, I forgot he had the soft at the beginning, didn't he? So he will definitely have the tyres to the end. So yeah, he can definitely be patient with when he wants to overtake, but he's lost a little bit on this lap. And looking back in front, Tom Sadler is now 8 seconds off Mark. So this is actually, considering how far ahead Mark is of people like Godek and White as well, it just really shows how on it he has been this weekend. He did say to me that he really kind of likes this track. Kind of suits him a bit better. So he was really feeling it, unlike Hockenheim where he wasn't quite feeling it. Marek Godek is actually falling off a little bit, because I think he was a little bit closer to Kian White than he was. So 10 laps to go. Kian is still holding that final podium position quite nicely. And let's have a look at the previous laps. On the last lap, the top 5 really all did the same lap times, all about 18.4, 18.3. So everyone is sort of getting to that point where they're just in the middle of their stint doing their lap times. And so just feeling their way with the tyres. Because most of the strategy really comes at the beginning and the end of the stint. So the beginning when you're trying to get the undercut or overcut. Well, really the undercut. And then the end of the stint is when your tyres are worn, and it's basically who can go the longest without getting their tyres beyond the cliff and beyond the point where you're actually going to be losing lap times. Because I just seen Sadler's lap times from his first stint, and despite him doing 32 laps on those tyres, his last lap was only, well, wasn't even a second slower, and it was pretty much bang on average of what he was doing over the last like 10 laps or so. So he really managed to keep his tyres before the cliff and keep that lap time going. And that is really where you gain a lot of time. And that's how he's so far ahead of Kian as well. And is Roman Tissing going to finally get an overtake done here? He's a lot closer. He's going to have to go around the outside into turn number 1. He's going to try and get a bit of a switch back. He's going to have DRS again. And Vac takes the inside line, which now turns to the outside, which will then turn again to the inside, so he has managed to save it. And I think really that was Roma's best chance he's had so far. And this time, I think Roma used a bit of quali boost there to try and make that work, because he suddenly lurched forward a little bit. So he's obviously quite desperate to make this move work. And he still has 8 laps to go to try and make this work. And it looks like Vac's a little bit further away actually. So this might be able to work for for actually no, he's lost a lot of time in that middle sector. But maybe next lap, if he can stay close. See, Vac's out DRS now, so this could be a move in the works for Roma Tissing, because obviously if the car ahead has DRS as well, you don't really get much of a gain. So he just needs to work his way back up into that area where he can make an overtake. And the person who's doing that right now is Tom Olderminger, trying to go around the outside. And if he keeps his car there, will become the inside for turn number 2, which has proved a really, really good overtaking place. Costa's going to keep it around the outside though, but can't keep his nose in there. So that's P10 for Tom Olderminger. And the TCS of Racing team. Unfortunately, his teammate Harris Parvez retired on the first lap, and Harris is the Pro Champion of 2017, so what is now Academy, 3rd tier, but didn't really race last year. He did a few races here and there. He was actually pretty good, but took a bit of a break, and hopefully TCS can have a bit better luck and a bit better results in the coming races. Okay, so Vac again does not have DRS. Roma does. So he needs to play this nicely. But yeah, not on this lap. But soon. And Marek Godek has got past Kian White. Marek Godek has got past Kian White. Let's grab a replay. Ah, Kian went off. I see. Kian went off by himself. Oops. Yep, Kian went off by himself in turn number 2. And let's see, is Godek going to get past into turn 4? Oh, this would have been a nice move by Marek Godek. Yep, kept it on the outside. Kian had to lift off. And that is a podium place for Marek Godek now. Kian is going to have to fight for this with 5 laps to go. Or 6 laps even. And where are we at with Roma? He is still sitting behind, and Vac is caught up a little bit actually. So not much to do here, but is Kian going to be close enough to make a move back? No, he isn't on this lap, so let's have a look at Roma. He's going to be coming up behind. He's actually going to be making a move here. This time he was close enough. Thomas not with the DRS. Roma's going to try and go around the outside. He might keep the DRS there actually as well. No, he doesn't. Thomas manages to get the DRS down in this zone, and he's going to go right around the outside, right big on the brakes to keep it around the outside. He's going to keep his nose in as well. Roma's going to have to leave him room on the apex, so they leave each other room. That is nice racing for the both of them. Nice, fair, clean racing. That is what we want to see. And Roma has got past into P8 for the Ghostspeed driver. And he now has Ivan Leonov in his sights with 5 laps to go. Yeah, that was a really nice move. It's nice to see a good, clean battle. No contact, nice hard racing, trying to outbrake each other. Very good indeed. And does Kian have DRS? Yes, he does. So this battle is not over just yet. Yeah, Kian not quite close enough just at the moment to make a move back. What strategy did Godek do? Let's have a look. He went. I see. So he went 10 laps on the Ultra Softs at the beginning, which really gave him an advantage with the tyres. When I see at the back, Kostas Galanamatis has gone onto the Ultra Soft tyres, I assume, to to try and get the fastest lap of the race. Even though, unfortunately, for him, we do not do points. Or a point, I should say, for fastest lap. Yeah, looking at the front, Mark Hutchinson, number 4, leading the way. Looking to get his 4th race win of the season. 4 out of 8 races is not a bad ratio at all, considering how competitive the pro field has been, at least at the front in most of these races, despite having a smaller grid than the other categories. It certainly brought up some good racing, but today Mark has just obliterated absolutely everyone. Oh, who's gone off? Is that Harley Hamnet? Let's have a look. He was in P8 at this point, I think, or P7, coming into turn 3. Okay, I'm not quite sure what happened there. I was expecting something to happen, but nothing really did happen. But what is about to happen is Ruma Tissing has caught up to Ivan Leonov. And if he can make this work, that'll be 3 go speeds inside the top 6. And that'll be quite good for Roma in the points. Obviously, he won't change the constructors because Sadly and Godek are getting go speeds points today. And looking at the front quickly, Kin. Yep, still can't make a move on this lap. So let's jump back on board with Roma. Nah, he's too far behind as well. So it's pretty much going to have to be like a last lap dash. Around lap 54. So we've got 2 laps after this one. With it being such a short track, that is why this lap count is the highest of the calendar. I think Brazil is potentially 57 laps if I remember rightly, so it's actually the second shortest that we have on the calendar after Brazil, because Montreal is slightly longer by a couple of meters, and we don't do Austria, which would be getting into that realms of that as well. So we're coming onto the penultimate lap of this race, and Kian White is going to be having a look at Goda. Actually, no, he isn't, unfortunately. He's a little bit too far behind. Does he have DRS? Yes, he does. He's still in DRS. Cannot quite make that work just yet. Well, actually, hasn't. To be honest, he hasn't been able to for about 5 or so laps since he made that mistake. So he'll be ruining that mistake. And where is Ruma? He has not been able to make this work either. So let's look if Kian White can actually get close enough on this lap, going into the last lap of the race. See the nice sparkles on the Oromia kart due to the new PBR liveries that we have added as of Hockenheim last time. So the teams are able to add in some sort of sparkles and different shadings beyond just the normal paint texture that they would make. And this is it, the final lap of the race. Mark Hutchinson is leading, Sadly is second, but who will get on that podium? Seems like Godek has a good advantage to do so. But we will stay with Kian White for this final attempt, really, down into turn 2. Because after that, it is going to be very difficult to make an overtake work. Unless he can't quite get it done. So let's have a look at Roma. Last lap move, what can Roma do on Ivan Leonov? He's gone quite big on the brakes. Will that hinder his exit? No, Ivan got a really nice exit there. And they'll actually catch up to Jalpateas as well. So yeah, that unfortunately hasn't worked for Roma Tissing, so it's going to be very difficult for him. So we're going to have to jump on board with Mark Hutchinson, who is coming round to finish this race and take his 4th win of the season. He's got just 2 corners to go. He's now got just one right-handed turn to go before he takes his 4th win of the season to increase his championship lead, and he will do so. So that is SimRacing taking another victory in 2019. And we have to look way back to Tom Sadley, who, to be fair, starting P13 has done a really good strategy to get himself up to P2, but nothing he could do about Mark Hutchison. And then Marek Godic will take that position, that final podium position, away from Kim Waits and Japateus. A good result for him. Oh, Roma tried to make a move there. We'll quickly get a replay in a second, but Zhao take P5, Ivan in P6, Roma will actually take P7 in the end, and then Thomas Fuck in P8, and Tom Olderminger will come round for P9, and Kostas Galandamatis, who pitted for a set of the Ultrasoft compound to try and get fast lap, I would assume, has blown his engine. But that is Mark Hutchinson who has taken the win here today. Absolutely amazing drive from him. So let's have a look at Roma. So Roma actually got around the outside. We're gonna need to go back beyond this to have a look for this. So Roma, he's gonna go around the outside of the comeback kid himself. A little bit of contact, but nothing too bad. And Roma's dived it down the inside, gone too far, and he's kind of caused that spin himself, unfortunately. But he manages to keep that win. Oh, sorry, that P7. But it's Mark Hutchinson who takes the win, and he will increase his championship lead to 30 points. But that is pending an appeal from Tom Satherley. So we will see what that does. But for today, that is the race over, and that is SimRacing taking another victory. And in 4 weeks' time, it's 5 weeks actually, the 25th of August, we will be at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix round number 9. So we look forward to seeing you then. But later today, in just over 1 hour's time, we will have the World Championship, and we'll have a proper full-length broadcast for that. And we will see you then in about an hour's time. But from me, for this Pro Championship, we wish you a good afternoon.